Zion Williamson and Duke, oh no, they were eliminated last night, losing a thriller to Michigan State. With his one-and-done year finally complete, Zion Williamson will now turn his attention to the NBA, or rather, the NBA will turn their attention to Zion, who's expected to go #1 in the draft and is generating more hype than any player in years. But not everybody is buying it, with the always controversial Gilbert Arenas saying of Zion, quote, "You have this great phenom player that has no true skill. Do you know how to come off of pin downs? Do you know how to run baseline curls? Do you pick and roll, pick and pop? No? You're just, ouch, Blake Griffining it. You're going to be the #1 pick, and I'm struggling with how you can't do a majority of the stuff that other players can." Greg, oh boy, do you have any concerns Zion Williamson will not live up to the hype?
Absolutely not. And again, I respect Gilbert Arenas, and I think I understand what he's trying to say, that he's not proven that he can do one or two specific things outside of the interior rebounding and just playing physical basketball. But have we not seen Zion Williams bring the ball up the court? Have we not seen his passing ability? Have we just overlooked all these things? Is he a great shooter? No. Is most college athletes a great shooter coming out of college straight to the pros? Not all of them. There's very few that are. But what I do like about Zion Williamson, why I disagree, is because he has everything that most players don't have. #1 being the competitive heart. He has the ability to just give you what is needed in the biggest moments when it matters most. That's what a lot of players lack when it comes to how great they can actually be. So I love Zion Williamson. I absolutely believe that he has room for improvement. But what I see on the basketball court is a guy who has a lot of ability that can do basically whatever's asked of him. In his role at Duke, he was asked to be an interior guy and be that glass hounding, physical featured guy inside. That's what he provided for that team.
No concern whatsoever, Greg. Gilbert Arenas is being silly here. Folks, this is a situation where Zion is a unicorn. People are trying to put him in, maybe he's Blake Griffin, maybe he's Larry Johnson. He's none of those guys. He's a unicorn. We've never seen a 6'7", 280, 85-pound guy with this freakish athletic ability. And remember, coming out of high school, he beat up a bunch of like South Carolina small school kids. And people were doubting him. I myself doubted him a little bit. I was like, I don't know if he'll be the #1 pick. He was unbelievable. I think he's going to go into the league and be the most impactful, transcendent player possibly since LeBron James.
Well, I think some of it comes down to what are your expectations for Zion Williamson? Like, if you're going to compare him to LeBron James, one, I think that's unfair. You know, LeBron and Michael Jordan, those are in a category where players shouldn't be compared to them. Zion is the most unique prospect that I've ever seen on a basketball court. He's built like a Mack truck. He's 6'7", 285 pounds, and he's versatile, and he has ridiculous speed, ridiculous athleticism, a 46-inch vertical. He's just different. He's most unique, more unique than any player we've ever seen on the court. So it comes down to your expectations. Can he live up to them? Well, if they're that he's going to be LeBron, that's unfair. Can he be an all-star? Certainly. This is a kid with so much transferable skills. And you mentioned there being question marks. Well, there's question marks about every player that enters the NBA draft. There's been question marks about Anthony Davis entering the draft or Joel Embiid. I think he's the best prospect to enter the draft since those two guys, but there's always going to be questions about draft picks.
I think you nailed it, actually. It's what are your expectations of him? You talked about him playing inside. He's a power forward. He's going to be a small ball center. He's not who can bring the basketball up the court, but he's not LeBron. And Gilbert Arenas is talking about coming off pin downs. He doesn't know how to. It's one of the flaws with one and dones is guys don't know how to run offense. They don't know how to run screens, but it's also not something that he's ever going to do. He'll be the one setting the pin down screen because he's just an undersized big. The league has changed and evolved, and he actually fits it perfectly. Perfectly. He actually, look, what Draymond Green has done for the league. This is kind of the next wave. This is Draymond Green's overall length and skill of being able to guard positions 1 through 5. And then Draymond's become really a poor offensive player as a shooter. The other thing is he can actually score in the low post. And there are very few guys that can legit score because guys are so big and so strong and it's so physical down there. But for a man his size, he's got unbelievable lateral quickness. We all make a big deal about 46-inch vertical, and that's great. But it's his ability to recover. How about there was a move in the Sweet 16.
Yes.
Where he got his ankles broken, recovered and blocked a shot. Like, dude, I've never seen that before. So you're right. We haven't seen it. You're right. It's a unicorn. Gilbert Arenas is not technically wrong, but in that the Blake Griffin, but he has more skill than Griffin did as a low post player. Maybe at any point in the first 5 years of Blake Griffin, and he's a much better ball handler than Blake was coming in the league.
Yeah, and some of it, you said expectations. Steph Curry came into the league, wasn't the top pick, obviously. Small kid, exceeded expectations. Even Luka Doncic last year, nobody thought, we liked him coming in, but nobody thought, oh, this guy's going to blow the league away. Zion right now has to be, like an 18-7 guy as a rookie and have some highlight reel moments, or people are going to be, I don't know. But a lot of it is fit, right? If he goes to, say, Atlanta with a Trae Young, oh, listen, that's going to be a fun team.
No question. And I think some of it comes down to, too, you can't just put Zion in a box. And you can't, there's not a comparison for him because he's different than what we've ever seen. And I think in the NBA game where there's more space, he's already so good in transition. If he can get to the rim, he's going to punch it on you. But he's so strong and tough and physical. But in space and transition, he's going to be a monster.
Look, the big question that we're kind of is the weight and what can he play at? How much can he keep off? Is he still the same guy? Can he play at 260? Because, look, the shoe, and that's one bad shoe from Nike, which probably, by the way, made him a ton of money. Just because everybody became aware, non-basketball fans became aware of this kid because his shoe blew off. And and he's going to be the #1 pick. But that's the type of torque he's putting on his ankles, his knees, his hips, his back, every time he plants and cuts. And no one's done it before, right? Rodney Rogers, his body kind of broke down. And Robert Traylor, rest in peace to Tractor. He was that size, but you can't play at that size, I don't think. And it's not the jumping, it's the landing, right? It's the planting. Can you do that? That's more of a legit question that people have. And then there's the honest question of, between Ja Morant and his teammates, are you better off getting a guy who dominates and handles the ball more because that's the way the league is going? I don't think so because I think that position, the 4-5 undersized hybrid that can also guard a point guard, I think those are, Draymond Green's a big reason they won 2 championships. And they come around far more seldom, right? Am I saying far more seldom or less seldom? I always get confused. Than the dominant ball handling guards are.
Last quick point. Remember, he's 18 years old. This Gilbert Arenas nitpicking about pin downs and all that stuff, he's going to get to the league and they'll coach him up. I think a little overblown on that part. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but yes, but look, one of the things that the none and dones especially, and we're trending into that direction. If you look at them, a good portion of them they're missing those finer points of their game. Dwight Howard never became a refined low post scorer. I think you need college. I really do. Not just personally to kind of evolve as a person, but I also think that you have coaches that they built their entire career improving players in a college game for 18 to 22-year-old players, and there's gaps in them. And guys come out, and now even with the one and dones, they don't know how to read defenses, they don't know how to read screens, and they don't know how to play when they don't have the basketball in his hands. I think that's Gilbert venting a little bit. I don't know if it applies as much to Zion as it does to other players.
Yeah.